Can we confidently say that Baker Mayfield has no long-term future with the Cleveland Browns?
Absolutely, positively not. I would not say that at all. They've already picked up his option for his 5th year. I believe he will be their starting quarterback next season. If they could get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, of course they would. Anybody would, but they can't and they won't. I believe Mayfield will be back. And I believe Baker Mayfield's biggest problem this year is that he's been hurt since week 2. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. And it is why I will not knock Teddy Bridgewater or anybody else for not making a tackle. Quarterbacks are not football players. They're more important than football players. Baker Mayfield tried to show everyone how tough he is by trying to make a tackle, and he got obliterated. He's had a torn labrum in his left shoulder the entire season. He was never going to be the same again. One of the reasons he's playing this way is that he is hurt, and he isn't getting healthy again until he has surgery, and they know that. So that will be the demise of this season for them, and that's a terrible shame. But I am absolutely convinced he will be their starting quarterback next year and will get another chance. So when you ask me, can we confidently say Baker Mayfield has no long-term future in Cleveland, my answer to that is definitely not. What's the next question?
Can the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs with Cam Newton as their starting quarterback?
The answer to that is yes. If you look at the NFC, it is jammed at the top. There are a bunch of really good teams, but there's room. There's a little soft underbelly. I remind everyone, 7 teams are going to make the playoffs this year. So let's just name them right now. The teams that you would bet your house, you would bet your life are going to make the playoffs this year. I'm just going through the divisions.
Okay.
Dallas.
For sure.
Tampa. Green Bay.
Okay.
That's it from those 3 divisions, right? Is there a team I'm missing from those before we get to the West? Is there a team in those 3 divisions you would bet your life on making the playoffs?
Would you say New Orleans would count?
No.
Okay.
Would you bet your life? Look, I love Trevor Siemian. I'm rooting for him like crazy. Would you bet your life that he's going to lead them to the playoffs?
I would not.
Me neither. So now you go out to the West. Okay. Arizona. Boy, the Rams looked. The Rams, the sneaky little truth about the Rams is they haven't beaten anybody good since they played Tampa early. But I believe they will make the playoffs. So that's 5. My point is there's room for 2 more teams. So are you telling me Carolina at 5-5 can't be one of those teams, can't get hot with Cam and catch a little light in a bottle with Christian McCaffrey and all the rest they have? They lose close games. I think they could.
You have the number 3 defense in the NFL right now.
I wouldn't give up on San Francisco. I would not give up certainly on New Orleans.
Minnesota?
Maybe the Eagles. Maybe the Vikings. They lose terrible games. I think the Panthers, when push comes to shove, I would bet the Panthers are going to make it. What's the next one?
If the Cowboys and the Packers played the NFC title game today, Greeny, who would you pick to win it?
Well, I'm going to make this Straight Talk brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. And, Bubba, I can't decide if you're going to like this or not like it. I believe the Cowboys are the best team in football. I really do. I think if you look at them from top to bottom, here's what I like about the Cowboys. I grew up in this business covering the Michael Jordan champion Chicago Bulls. And what made that team so great, what I learned by covering that team, those teams, is that the really great teams can beat you no matter how you make them play. So you can take a lot of teams out of what they want to do. You can't take the Cowboys out of what they want to do because they'll beat you however you want to beat them. You want to play a physical game? If their offensive linemen are healthy, they will bludgeon you. Zeke is playing good. They got a 2-headed running attack. They will run it behind that line. You want to get into an air war? You want to get into what's the word I'm looking for here? A shootout? You think Dak Prescott's worried about that? How many teams have a better receiving core? How many teams have a second receiver as good as Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper is their WR2. CeeDee Lamb is a beast. Michael Gallup is back healthy. Tight end is pretty good. And the defense is getting better and better and better, and they're doing it without 2 of their most important guys who are not out for the year, Gregory and Lawrence. So I think right now the Cowboys are the best team. I would bet if I had to pick a team right now, I would pick them to go to beat anybody but Tampa. I just can't bet against Tom Brady. So if Brady gets knocked out somewhere along the line, I think the Cowboys absolutely have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Let's do one more.
Greeny, is Mac Jones already better than you thought he would be?
Okay. The answer to this question is obviously no. And if you listen to this show, you know why. Bubba, let's lose the music here and let me make this point. I told you in January on this show and in February and in March leading up to the draft, Mac Jones is going to be the steal of the draft if he falls past 3. And the very simple reason is the most important thing for a quarterback to be is smart. It's not that you have to have enough arm talent, but you don't have to have legendary arm talent. You know how many quarterbacks have had far more arm talent than the best ones you've ever seen? You line them up. Jeff George, Vinny Testaverde, how many MVPs do those guys win? Throw a ball through a car wash and not get it wet, right? That's the expression? Mm-hmm. That's not what it takes to be a great quarterback. Mac Jones can't beat you in a foot race. How many quarterbacks need to beat you in a foot race? Tom Brady is still running the 40 from his combine. That was in 2000 or whatever year it was. He's smart. I said it at the time. Mac Jones graduated with a 4.0 GPA in 2.5 years. He has a master's degree, and he's got a football IQ. That ball is coming out of his hands before anybody even knows what's happening. Mac Jones is not better than I thought he was going to be. Mac Jones is a great player in the right place and is going to be a superstar. Now, Tyrann Mathieu apparently just tweeted. This was not planned, but this is being typed on my screen as we speak. He's tweeted, Mac Jones wasn't trendy enough for y'all at first, huh? Now y'all love him. Man, y'all funny. Day in and day out, y'all should be on Comedy Central. You don't throw sidearm or run fast, so people knocked him. Dude can play quarterback, period. That's Tyrann Mathieu. I have no idea why he's tweeting that right now. Who is he tweeting that at?
He was actually going back and forth with Orlovsky, who was tweeting some stuff about Mac Jones this morning, too.
Oh, well,
in favor of Mac Jones.
Dan Orlovsky has been in favor of Mac Jones from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I don't recall Dan. Dan was not one of those San Francisco shouldn't take him.
No.
If the 49ers had Mac Jones right now, they'd be better off. They would be. Now, Trey Lance might, 5 years from now, wind up being a great player. We'll see. But Mac Jones stepped foot on the field ready to go, and he'd be fine there.